Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I feel like I'm right on the camera. One day I'll figure all this technology out. It's just me doing it, so I have to learn as I'm going along in the process. Okay. So I just uploaded a video for my members only regarding some countries that we don't usually touch base on. Italy, Greece, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bulgaria was one of them. And then I know I'm missing a couple. Pakistan, I just mentioned that. There's 2 or 3 other ones that I included in that video. So it is up on members only. You can join for $2.99 a month, and I try to upload at least 1 to 2 times per month a lengthy video of predictions, okay? A lot of it is things that I can't leave for the public. So that is one way you can support my channel if you're interested. You can try, I think there's a trial where you can get on there for 30 days. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's okay. You can opt out of it. It's optional. Okay. Oh, and I do have an Amazon wish list as well. It's in my bio on my YouTube channel. England. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about England. But it's all about purging and things coming to light. And I have been covering the UK since last September, October of 2025. And then I talked about the UK prior, but really getting into the landscaping, the mind, the politics, the monarchy, divine puts us where they want us to work. I know I talked about England having a person resign or step down at some point, maybe in August. But I find this interesting because when I'm looking into it again, it's very similar to the first energetic pull that I was given. But I'm seeing a government disclosure is what I was getting, and I put down someone could be resigning because of it, or even temporary stepping down. And this is over some type of hidden info regarding money, government money. That came in over and over again, government money with contracts. I want you to pay attention. Government money connected to contracts. And I believe there could be an investigation, and it's going to possibly be released between August and October. Now, is this the same thing that I was getting in my prior video where I talked about someone resigning? We didn't know if it was Healy. We didn't know if it was Streeting. I wasn't sure if it was something to do with Burnham, even though I think Burnham has his own little scandal that may come out later, iffy on that one. I don't know what this is. This is quite interesting. I have an idea of what it's connected to, but I'm afraid to tell you because, I think we should let it unfold. I think we're looking at a temporary person stepping down or resigning permanently. And because of all this, there could be a possible removal of a senior political figure. It may not even be those ones I just mentioned. A lot of people are going to ask questions. Now, this is the other part you need to listen to. Take note. It's all about public spending, possibly unaccounted for. I'm not sure, but the word foreign involvement came in for this. Foreign involvement. And the only thing I can think of is something tied into Ukraine. Possibly. Yeah, maybe the drone facility, or I'm not sure, but foreign affairs will be connected to this, I do believe. It may not be the same prediction that came through the other day. Maybe it is. But there's just so much going on, I can't keep up with it. Another thing to pay attention to in this energetic reading that I'm sharing, I have a woman. A woman comes in, and she becomes unexpectedly important to all of this. A woman. Definitely a woman. She is going to be very significant in the investigation. There's going to be a woman. Kind of thought she may had like light colored hair, but I don't know. Time frame for this, August 28th through October 18th. Again, it can come off the timeline. I think this is something a little different than what we had spoken on before, or it could all be tied into one. I don't know. But it almost feels like it kind of goes back to Starmer. But I could be wrong. But he's already gone, right? He's no longer in the parliament. So what's going on? That was a heavy load. Now let's go ahead and talk about Scotland. So for Scotland, I see a constitutional confrontation, right? And it feels to be a renewed argument, not something new, but renewed, something that's been pushed aside, ignored, and then it's brought back into the spotlight with Westminster. Westminster. There you go. I have that Appalachian dialect. I can't help it. I think that the Scottish authorities, this could be over that, or it could be something to do with control over national resources. But I have down Scottish authority is going to be looking into something regarding to control over national resources. It all comes together when it happens. I don't always understand it when it comes through, but then that's why we call it a prediction, or you can say intuitive thought, intuition, because we don't always understand exactly what it means. I just hear it. I'm really keen into the UK, but that's what I have to say for Scotland. There's also something about a court ruling. I have down court ruling, and it has something to do with Scotland and their independence. There's going to be a discussion again about Scotland wanting their independence. That's what I heard. The time frame, roughly, I have down September through November of 2026. It's not set in stone, but that's the dates I resonate with. This is going to be phase 1. I feel like there's going to be a phase 2 in this. So part 2, as it unfolds with Scotland, it would be in early 2027. So for example, this is in fact about Scotland wanting to become independent in some way. Phase 1, they're talking about it. We learn about it. Phase 2, there's a decision made. So it could be something like that. My hands are up. I plead the 5th. I don't know. All right, so I had to pause because I'm looking over. So I put out a prediction about Wales, and I said that there could be flooding, and there's going to be like rushes of water that kind of comes in certain areas, like in suburban areas of Wales. And I talked about maybe mudslides, or some say landslides, but in my eye, I'm seeing it more as just mud. Like burst of mud. It kind of shoots out and just brings in all this water. It's just really like a brown. Okay. So that happened, and I talked about it. I talked about this happening, and one of my subscribers said it did happen after. So I can scratch that off for, maybe it was for August, I don't know, but we need to talk about Wales again, because I'm being shown more flooding because of the heat. More flooding coming in with landslides, but again, it looks more like a mudslide to me, not really land. I know there's a difference between the two. A mudslide to me is not so high up; it's more like localized and it kind of gets pushed out because of the water that's coming in so quickly. That's how I'm being shown. But it's going to cause issues with reservoirs and even possibly with water supplies. And this has not happened yet. Not yet. This is a different one for Wales. And the public, I see the public becomes pissed off. Pardon my French, really pissed off, which I understand that totally. I've had water flooding before too, and I'm pissed off still right now. Okay, over things. But the people become very pissed off because of the delayed government assistance. There's a delay in getting help. So that's telling me that there's going to be some infrastructure, some flooding, possibly houses or businesses. The area I have down is South Wales, and I have down western coastal areas in Wales. This would be from September through November. So September, even maybe October, November of 2026. So again, this has not happened yet. I know you guys just had flooding, and we talked about that prior to it, beforehand. This is a different one. So keep in mind that if you live in a prone area and you've already had issues, this may come up again here in the next month or so. Okay, so now that we have taken care of Wales, let's go ahead and go into Northern Ireland. So sometimes I get Northern Ireland mixed up with all of Ireland, if that makes sense. And I'm so intrigued with Ireland because one of my parents, I talk about my parents, but I don't speak to this parent, but they have a lot of Wales and Irish in them. Scottish, Irish, yeah, a lot. So, in fact, their great-great-grandparent, or maybe great-great-great-grandparent, came to the United States, and they spoke Gaelic. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked there. So, Northern Ireland. I'm getting something with the border, and it feels to be connected to, it could be trade issues. However, it feels more to be over some type of border arrangement is what I have. Auto writing. Can't always read it. Border arrangements. So that could be connected to, say, customs, or even agricultural restrictions. How interesting that I have that. Also, I was thinking, well, because I'm seeing the border and I'm getting something with security. And the security event, I feel like there may have already been a security event that maybe the public is not aware of over in Northern Ireland, right? Or maybe we only heard a little bit about it, or you guys, but it becomes politically larger than the original story. So maybe this hasn't happened yet, but there might be some type of security event on the border with Northern Ireland, and it's downplayed, but really it comes out later as being a little more serious than talked about. It could happen that way. I feel what I speak on as alleged is not factual. Okay, I have to say that for my disclaimer. But I'm getting that this has already happened. Okay, it has already happened. You may understand, or this may resonate for you guys that live over there, but it's going to come out that it happened, and it's going to be blown up into something much politically bigger. And that's what I'm getting. I don't know exactly. Again, this is auto. It kind of comes in so quick, and we can always put the pieces in later. It's good to share it while it's hot off the press, right? Press off my brain. Okay. So along with this border issue, there is going to be pressure. This is interesting. Very interesting. There's going to be pressure placed on London. Then I have down Dublin and Brussels. And it is to renegotiate some type of agreement. It is connected to border. I believe it's connected to the border. Again, it could be over trade. It could even be about immigration or some type of agricultural, like food or supplies. Interesting. So be listening out for the middle part of August throughout October. These dates are not always set in stone. I have to repeat myself. Just be open-minded. It could happen tomorrow. I don't know. But those are the dates that I'm giving you. Okay? Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is Spain. I feel like I need to bring this up. I saw what happened with the migration issue. And, I'm not sure how they are handling that over there. I haven't been keeping up with it. But here's what I do have for Spain. Catalonia. I don't know where this is, but I know it's in there. And it may not be Catalonia. It could be another region I feel is going to challenge Madrid, or Madrid, however you pronounce that. Pay attention to that. I'm not sure. Spain is going to go through a complete change, a reset. So it's starting. So let me go ahead and get into a few more things. So another region, could be Catalonia, but it could be someone else, another area, will challenge Madrid. I'm being shown a senior minister resigns. Now, I had talked about Spain, and I had said the leader of Spain a couple of months ago, I said he needs to be very careful. This person needs to be very careful. They could just temporarily become absent or resign, or something much worse like assassination. And so these things we need to look at, especially after the eclipse, August 12th onward. Another thing I'm seeing that brings in the mindset of reset. Unfortunately, resets are not always pleasant. This one I'm seeing extreme heat. I mean, it's going to get worse over there. There's going to be fires that are not going to be controlled. I do feel like these are going to be set on purpose. It's already dry during this time period when this happens, and these are going to be set on purpose. So I'm just saying. And then this is going to bring out electrical, could be electronic grids. It's going to bring out issues with that. The heat is going to do that. And some of these fires could be set from that. Lightning, who knows? But I'm also seeing man-made lighter happening there out of anger to bring in more chaos. But this is going to really, really spark the anger of the citizens in Spain. And you're going to hear about this, I do believe. The time frame I have is August through September. Again, just putting out those dates. It could be October. But I feel content with the dates I share. I'm going to say all of August, all of September, and we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't happen. But Spain is undergoing something. And we saw this with Venezuela. They had those quakes. Then before that, the leader was taken to the United States, was extradited back over here. And then during that time, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of crime, people going in and out, just crazy, right? And I believe they are in their reset. But now Spain's about to go into theirs. Okay, a lot of South America, this is going to happen in these countries. Colombia, Peru, Honduras, just all over in time. But right now we are looking into Spain, and that's what I have. Okay. All right. The next one I want to go into is France. So from September through November, I thought these large demonstrations couldn't get any bigger over there, but I'm seeing them becoming much bigger. Where this could bring coordinated strikes. So it's going to be real sketchy, I do believe, for France. And interestingly, I was getting farmers, people who are connected to transportation, people who work in the energy part of all this, just say public workers in those fields are going to become central in all this. And especially farmers. I'm getting something with farmers and transportation. Those two really stand out to me. And then I'm getting that a prominent cabinet member is either going to become completely shut off and isolated, or even step down. If I were Emmanuel Macron, I would be very careful as well. September, October, November, really any time that he's sitting in the power seat, he needs to be careful. I can see him, and I've talked about this before, outdoors, like in an outdoors event, and his back is turned. Okay, he's not facing this person, but his back is turned. He's kind of walking away, and something happens to him from the back. It feels to be, a assassination attempt. I've talked about that, and I've seen it very clearly, and I know it's Emmanuel. I know because I see the French flag and the flags, and I can see that it's like, it's not in Paris per se, but the landscaping looks familiar, and I know it's him, even though I'm only seeing the backside. I'm going to say Emmanuel needs to be careful. I don't think this is going to happen, guys, but when I see it, I tell it. No sugarcoating. Be careful. People are really not liking you right now, Emmanuel. You have more enemies than you have friends in France, in your country that you're leading. Also, the opposition to Emmanuel's party, more right-wing. I was getting a masculine, a man who is running or may try to run for the position. He's opposition of Emmanuel. He needs to be careful. It's a younger guy. I don't know. I cannot think of his name, but I see. Okay. Needs to be careful too. So overall, the feeling I'm getting is rejection of government authority is what it feels like. It's going to be crazy. I hate to say it. I see it strongly for September, even the end of August, honestly. It's just, it's going to be chaotic in France. Nowhere I want to be as far as protesting in the streets. I wouldn't even go if it were me. And I always say to my UK viewers, go. I'm not saying to let fear stop you, but be very careful in France. Mm-hmm. This is a long video for me. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Germany. Germany and Benelux, Benelux. I've talked about that area before. All right, so these regions, I'm getting something with industry and energy reversal. Okay, so we have Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. That area as well. I'm getting cost of energy is going to go up in some way. Cost of energy. And then there's going to be large companies. I get Germany in mind for this one, but anywhere that I mention. Large companies closing, layoffs, and I'm even seeing one or two of these companies relocating into a different district, a different area. And that's going to be a huge blow for Germany or even Belgium or Netherlands. Yeah, I'm not sure. But this large company, this manufacturer that I'm seeing, it's really, really a big company, guys. It is a big, it's connected to maybe metal, but I'm not sure why I'm saying that. But it's going to be so bad when it happens financially that the banking system or the government is going to have to intervene somehow or another to try to save this company from defaulting or save the bank, is what I'm getting. Save the bank. I have no idea, but I want to mention that. Also, we could learn of another policy reversal. The UK and Europe, known for this. This happens. I think they do it here too in the States. They just don't talk about it, but I think it's done. So another policy reversal could be connected to trade again, and defense spending is going to be a big one. This is something that Germany, I feel like this is Germany, doesn't want to do, but they're going to have to go back on a reversal, policy reversal. I think that there's going to be some companies or something that's going to foreclose in that area, in those areas. And the defense spending, probably for Ukraine or for the military, they're going to have to pause that, because this is going to, whatever company this is, it affects. It's like a domino effect. That's what I have. I don't know. So October through January of 2027, I think this is going to have several phases. We're going to have 1, 2, 3. So October could be when we learn of this. Maybe December, more detail, and then boom, 2027, like in January, is when there's a final destination to this, a closure. Okay, we're going to move into Iceland. And I talked about this prior, but I need to mention it again. Iceland, the northern Atlantic. So we do have volcanic activity. I know we already have had it. I'm seeing an uptick in this. And even some type of aviation disruption. I'd be cautious with like military flying around or just airplanes, anything that's up in the air and a human is controlling it, not a UFO. Be careful. Over in the Iceland area and just the northern Atlantic for aviation problems. And there's also going to be some type of unusual, I don't want to say weather event. This was kind of strange when it was coming in. I'm seeing like big chunks of ice, when it breaks apart and it's in the waters and it's just like moving around. I see a bunch of them. It's like puzzle pieces needing to be put back together to complete the ice, the sheet of ice. Interesting. I don't know what this is, but it's going to bring in international attention. So it could be some type of natural disaster, but it doesn't really feel like that. It feels to be connected to the weather itself, not from an earthquake or volcano, because I can't interpret it any better than that. Don't know. So hopefully I did not miss any. We're going to go ahead and go over to the United States. So I do feel like we are going to have another water-related emergency. No, this hasn't happened yet, unfortunately. And it's going to turn into a political controversy. And so that's not good, right? I have a few areas in mind, but I don't feel comfortable pinpointing in this situation because it feels to be pretty significant if it happens. And hopefully it does not happen. I hope it doesn't. But Florida, of course, and I was getting something with the Gulf side of Florida. They get significant flooding from the tropical storm or maybe a hurricane that is developed in the Gulf of Mexico, and most likely will go through, I think it will probably go through Florida, and then it'll ride these other states, and then it will go back, maybe when it gets into, say, South Carolina, parts of North Carolina, it goes into South Carolina, okay. It'll go in through South Carolina, and then it'll go into the mid-Atlantic, maybe, possibly Appalachian areas. Again, I just told you what they are. I could be wrong. I could be. But I just know we're going to have a water event. I do believe that because I'm seeing this bring in widespread flooding. It reminds me of what happened a few years ago when we had, I think it was 2024, the hurricane came here and it rode right on top of me, and then it ended up going through other states, and then it went into the mid-Atlantic, and all the Appalachian regions in the United States on the East Coast and mid part were flooded. It was horrible. It was so sad. It was very sad for those areas that are not prepared for these type of weather events. Many people lost their lives, more so in the Appalachian areas versus where the hurricane hit through here first. It was, in my opinion, it was much worse up in the Appalachian Mountains, those areas. But again, I can't be certain. But this is going to bring large power outages. I see insurance companies not wanting to cover things, and that's very common, but I do think that's going to happen here. And then overall, what really concerns me in this particular intuitive image is I'm feeling that the emergency housing and disaster funding is going to be delayed and becomes a national argument. August 28th through October the 10th of 2026 is possible. Again, I hope this doesn't happen. I pray it comes off the timeline. I really, really do. I do. Okay, let's move on to Washington, D.C. This is kind of unusual. This reminds me of a UK type of intuitive message I have. Legal revelation and senior departure is what I'm getting. And I don't feel like it's connected to anyone who's been in the hospital. This is not due to health. This is something, I feel like there's a senior officer who is going to resign or step down before a story unfolds for the public to know, or before it's publicly released. And this person could be connected to Epstein. I don't know, but this is crazy because I'm like, okay, well, who? But there's going to be, I believe, a court decision. And I don't keep up with U.S. politics, honestly, because I live here and I am in between and I know what I know. Okay, so I'm just mutual. But there's going to be a court decision, but I think there's a story that's going to unfold. And it's going to be released publicly. And this person is like, oh, I'm out of here. Because they know they're in hot water. They're going to be caught. And I feel like this is going to happen in two parts. So the first announcement will be incomplete. We're going to get bits and pieces of what's going on. And then the second one who carries more valuable information will come out 2 or 4 weeks later, a couple of weeks later. So I don't have a time frame for this one. I feel like it's going to be in 2026, at least the incomplete part of it. It could be any time really for this one in this time frame. So the next 6-7 months. It may ride into 2027, but I feel like it'll be. We'll learn of it. We'll learn of this information, at least part of it, incomplete in 2026, probably between August, September, October, and then later on in the year. But we'll see. I'm going to have to keep track of that one because I'm getting it. All right, guys. I believe that is it. If you guys are new to my channel, please subscribe if you have not already. I know many of you watch my videos, but you're not subscribed. Make sure if you follow my channel that you are subscribed, because I notice YouTube has been unsubscribing. You want to sub back up so you can get notifications. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.